Alrighty, hey all, how you doing today? Corey with The War Within. Today is training day 25 for me. Oh man, let me just tell you, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today for sure. I was feeling it. Yesterday was a pretty crazy training day for me. I hit a pretty good pace 3 mile, and I'd say probably a mile and a half into that 3 mile, I just started to feel insanely hot. Dehydrated, so to speak. It felt like I wasn't perspiring well enough. It was weird. I don't know what it could have been. Either way, I finished running. Afterwards, I just felt kind of whatever. I wasn't very excited about the run. It wasn't the greatest feeling run ever. And that kind of carried over into later on. I went and did another pool workout down in La Jolla with what they call the Master Swim Group, a bunch of people that have been doing training or have been training for a little while. And we put out a pretty good amount of volume. So I felt good with that, but this morning I just kind of woke up, and although I said earlier in the week that I wasn't going to have a rest day, I think today's a rest day. I went and got my feet massaged and my calves massaged, a little Asian place around the corner. And that, I feel, did the trick. And I think that could have possibly been what was holding me down yesterday, was my feet being so sore. And it's something I just got to understand and realize that with the amount of training that I've been doing lately and just kind of throwing myself into this, there's going to be different muscle groups that are definitely shocked, much like my feet and my calves. So they've been pretty tight, especially with cycling. You wear such stiff shoes and you got to get used to those as well. So it finally caught up to me a bit. But either way, still training hard, still going strong. Crazy as it might be, even though I haven't run the triathlon yet, I'm already starting to look at doing a half Ironman and then hopefully an Ironman next year. We'll see if those words change after I finish my triathlon, but you guys can hold me to it because I said it here. Either way, that brings me to what I want to talk about today. And what I want to talk about today is establishing a routine. Now, establishing a routine sounds way easier than it actually is, especially when it comes to, so my experience being PTSD. And I'll give you guys a little background. About 2 years ago, everything fell apart. I was just exhausted. It really hit me, my central nervous system. I felt like I got completely paralyzed, to be honest with you. And it required a lot of rest on my end to just shed the stress or whatever, and then the depression and anxiety were just throwing me for a loop. So once that kind of went away, I still needed time to recover and recoup, and with a weird sleeping schedule. So normally I try to go to bed around 10 or 11 at that point in time in order to try to establish a routine, and that wasn't happening. And then I'd end up finding myself waking up from like 3 to 5, wide awake 3 to 5, maybe even a little later than that, so 3 to 6 until the sun came up, and then I'd sleep from about that time to 9 or 10. And I realized after some time, probably about 4 to 6 months ago, that this was no good for me. And I started to play around with waking up a little bit earlier. 8 o'clock became my time frame, so then my schedule became from midnight to 8. And I didn't have too much of a routine, meaning I didn't set my days up ahead of time. Sometimes I would, but it just, for some reason, it didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well having to schedule my day and kind of become super organized. It was becoming more stressful. And at that point in time, it was kind of nice to just kind of live life. So coming out of the military and then directly into owning my own business for 2 years, where my schedule was stringent and it was dependent on others and serving others, man, I was just really reluctant to have to set up another routine. But I'll tell you, in establishing a routine, I found quite a bit of peace with it. So although I felt some discomfort prior to, now I'm realizing, wow, this is adding a lot more efficiency to my day. I'm able to start checking things off my list as I go through. I may not stick directly to my routine or what I have scheduled, but I'll knock out a good 80% of it, and it makes me feel accomplished at the end of the day. And also having my day kind of set up prior to I don't have to worry about planning my day on the go or on the run or waking up late and then trying to figure out what to do with my life. Instead, the day before, I've had everything scheduled. Now, I know it sounds more like I'm talking about scheduling and setting aside time, but I do want to talk more so about routine. So routine is something that it's gonna be something that's repeated over and over each day, and you're gonna hit specific tenets of your routine that make your day fulfilled. So for instance, for me, one of the things that is a non-negotiable in my life now is meditation. So I know when I wake up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna meditate, and then I'm gonna stretch, and then I'm gonna eat my breakfast. And that morning routine for me sets me up for not having to wait later on in the day and then depend on how busy my schedule gets in order to do that. And then I've knocked the important things out right away. So now whatever's left on my list, you know, is just it's just rolling downhill from there. So the other thing obviously that's in the routine is I have to have some type of physical fitness within my daily schedule, unless it's a scheduled rest day. And throughout my week, I need to have some form of recovery, some way for me to take care of myself and help myself out. So whether it be like a chiropractic appointment or acupuncture or a small massage, even in my routine, what I'm trying to implement now too is something that I was kind of hesitant about doing as well, is soaking. So Epsom salt bath in order to get lactic acid out, and obviously the magnesium really helps with muscle soreness. So with that said, I know it's difficult, guys and gals. I know it's difficult, especially when you really are fighting this war within, when you're so full of anxiety and depression. If you are a sufferer of PTSD, whether it be traumatic instances from the military or in the past, or something that occurred recently that was traumatic that has caused you to go through these types of issues, don't stress yourself out too much with establishing a routine. But do start thinking of ways that you can add small things in daily to create a small routine, to create a small ritual, if you will. And that's something that will create a lot more comfort in your life. And it's going to create a pattern where it's going to make you wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Like I said, I highly suggest trying it out. But I will always be a proponent of individuals putting their healing first before they start stacking their plate on with responsibilities. So mind you on that one. Please, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to comment in the comment section below. Or you can email me at thewarisinside@gmail.com. We could chat a little bit there if you so feel like it. And as always, subscribe to the page. Let your friends know. Have them subscribe. Trying to get up to 10,000 views. That'd be amazing. And the GoFundMe account is still going on. So if you do have the time or the funds, or friends that have some funds, let them know. GoFundMe/The War Within Triathlon Fund. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much and have a great day.